Hi everyone, my name is Campie and today I'll be teaching you how to beat Ghastly Graveyard event. In this event, you will have to fight 3 waves of enemies and each wave has a boss. The difficulty of this event varies because each wave has a random boss. There are about 7 or 8 bosses that can be chosen from for each wave. I'm going to show you how to beat each boss type. This first boss type is Grok the Feared. He's a summoner type of boss and he's not too dangerous. Just make sure he doesn't hit you with his melee attack. Shortly after the boss is summoned, 2 Acolyte Debasers will appear. They are the guys that have those big axes and they will shoot a beam through their hands at you to slow you down. You want to kill these Debasers first, target them first. Once you kill both Debasers, beating this will be pretty easy. I kill the Debasers with my Incinerate, and I'm keeping my distance with Teleport, especially when I'm slowed down. If you don't have Teleport, this may be a lot more difficult for you. Then I cast Fireballs and I kill the big groups of enemies, and I run around in a circle. This boss type is probably easiest to kill, but mainly if you have Teleport. If you don't, it might be kind of difficult. This next boss is Grix the Stone Guardian. Shortly after this boss comes out, 2 Acolytes spawn. If you wish, you can kill the 2 Acolytes first, but in this video, I actually left them alone more or less. And I just ran around clockwise, dealing damage to the enemies from range. This boss will occasionally disappear into the sky and rain down AoE damage. The AoE attacks aren't too dangerous, they don't do too much damage, but you want to avoid them if you could. And then later on he will summon 2 gargoyles to help him attack you. Those gargoyles do moderate to minimal damage, so they aren't too dangerous, but you want to try to avoid getting hit by them as well. Note those fiery craters, they will damage you a little bit if you stand on them, so try not to walk on top of them. So right now I'm just dotting up the boss and running around in a circle. I recommend running around the inner part of the circle because if you run on the outer part, it makes it easier for the boss to catch up to you because he runs in the inner circle. This next boss is Skelegantis, the first giant. He is a new boss enemy in this game. At least I have never seen him before. Shortly after he is summoned, 2 Debasers appear and 2 big skeletal archers will appear as well. You definitely want to kill the 2 big skeletal archers first, as they have a power shot attack that you cannot avoid. Once the 2 skeletal archers are dead, you want to target the Debasers. The Debasers are pretty deadly because they slow you down, letting the boss catch up to you and beat you on the head. But if you have Teleport, it helps immensely. If you don't have Teleport and you don't have any potions of bear and you don't have invulnerability, then you might need to have the archer decoy. If you don't have that, then you'll probably need someone to help you out. One person could lead the boss away and the other person can kill the Debasers and the skeletal archers and such. With the Debasers and skeletal archers gone, killing the last boss is very easy. This next boss is Lord Adrenos. As you can see, he has a very strong melee attack, which you want to avoid. Shortly after he spawns, 2 Debasers spawn as well. You want to kill these Debasers first. Once the 2 Debasers are gone, this boss isn't nearly as dangerous. Every 10 seconds, the boss will cast a meteor shower. And when he's doing that, you definitely want to move away from him. The meteor showers can do immense damage if you're nearby, especially if you stand still. With the debaser gone, killing this boss is pretty easy. That is if you're ranged. If you're a knight, it might be more difficult. This part can be a little tricky too, and you might want to move out of the inner ring and move outside. The only thing is, when you move outside the ring, for some reason it seems like it's much easier to die. I'm not sure if it's lag or whatever, but for some reason boss AoE seems to kill me more easily when I'm outside of the ring. Or maybe it was just the suicide wolves killing me as I kind of lagged through. This next boss is Veneric the Deprived. Shortly after he spawns, 2 undead archmages will spawn, and then 2 skeletal archers will spawn as well. You want to target and kill the skeletal archers first. The reason for this is because they have a power shot that deals 1000 damage to you, and you cannot dodge that attack. When you see a mist appearing around their feet, that means they're charging up their power shot. Having 2 skeletal archers shoot you at the same time is very deadly, so you want to make sure you kill one as soon as possible and try to get rid of both. Once both skeletal archers are dealt with, then you want to kill the undead archmages. The undead archmages are those blue balls, and they slow you down with the black AoE attack. Once the skeletal archers and undead mages are dealt with, then killing the last boss is pretty easy. As you notice, the boss does a huge amount of melee damage, so you definitely don't want to get hit by it. Just stay out of its range. Just stay and walk on inner circle if you could, and just attack Veneric from afar. This next boss is Jonder Lord of Ice. He moves extremely fast for a big boss. When he lifts his foot and stomps on the ground, it creates that blue X trail of ice. You definitely want to stay away from him and avoid getting hit by that trail when he lifts his foot, because it does a lot of damage. His foot stomp attack is actually pretty predictable if you understand how the angling works for his attack. The angle of his attack is always perpendicular to the path and everything else on this map. So once he does his attack, that's pretty much the angle for all his future attacks. And you can kind of move to an area where the gap would be in his attack. He also has a secondary attack which he doesn't do as often, but he lifts his hammer and slams it into the ground, and then huge icicles will fall to the ground. Don't touch the icicles or they do damage to you, and they will also explode, and if you're around when they explode, then you'll get hurt really bad. This next boss is Balor the Wicked. 2 acolytes will spawn shortly after he comes out. Interestingly enough, you can fear the boss with Incinerate. And when a boss is running away off the screen, you can take care of the acolytes and any other ad. The fear doesn't last long, but it's long enough to help you kill all the ads. You definitely want to keep moving, because as long as there's acolytes, it's dangerous to stand still. Once you bring Balor down to a certain amount of hit points, he will fly into the air and rain down meteors. Those meteors won't do too much damage to you, so don't worry too much about that. So if you notice, he's feared, and while he's feared, I just destroy the portals, I destroy the imps, and everything else that's on the screen that's not him. So with the ability to fear the boss, it makes it extremely easy. This boss isn't too bad anyways, so even if you're not able to fear him, just keep running around in a circle and try to kill him without getting hit by the AoE attacks from the acolytes or from his own attacks. This next boss is the Siege Beast. As you have guessed, you want to keep your distance from him and attack him from far. He can do immense damage to you if you're nearby. It appears that the last boss will always have 2 undead archmages appear and 2 skeletal knight archers appear as well. And as always, you need to take care of the skeletal archers first if you could. And once the skeletal knight archers are dealt with, take care of the undead archmages. Once the skeletal archers and undead mages are dealt with, then the last boss is pretty easy. Just make sure you keep your distance from him. I hope you guys found this video informative and useful. Thanks for watching, and I hope to see you in the next video. And I will see you later. Bye bye.